No one in the packed auditorium expected Senator John Kennedy to take the stage early. The evening was supposed to belong to Charlie Kirk, his message, his movement, his momentum, but life has a way of rewriting its script at the most fragile moments. And that night, as the lights dimmed and the murmurs settled into expectant silence, the nation found itself standing on the edge of a moment that would echo far beyond the walls of that building. Because the senator didn't step up to deliver a speech. He stepped up to deliver a prayer. Earlier that morning, Charlie had collapsed backstage during a small gathering, overwhelmed by a storm of exhaustion, pressure, and an ache he had kept hidden beneath layers of responsibility. People often imagine strong voices don't break, that leaders marching into controversy day after day don't tire, don't doubt, don't feel the crushing weight of the millions who expect them to stay unshaken. Charlie did. And that morning, his body finally told the truth his heart had been whispering for months. The news spread quickly, first through whispered snippets, then through bold headlines, then through a trembling nation of supporters unsure what tomorrow would bring. Senator John Kennedy was supposed to give a short introduction for Charlie that night, a light moment before the main event. But when he heard about the collapse, he canceled every plan, every appearance, and drove hours to be there, not for politics, not for publicity, but for something much older and purer, loyalty to a friend who had given too much of himself for too long. When he stepped on the stage, he looked visibly shaken. The crowd sensed it. He wasn't wearing his usual half-smirk or tossing around the good-natured jabs he was known for. His shoulders were heavier, his steps slower. The room fell into a stillness so absolute that even the hum of the lights seemed to fade away. "I'm not here to give a speech tonight," he began, voice roughened with emotion. "I'm here to talk to you about a young man who has carried more weight than any one person should have to carry, and to ask you to lift him up the only way we can right now." People leaned in. A few wiped tears before they even knew why. Kennedy spoke about the months leading up to that collapse, the exhausting travel, the endless debates, the sleepless nights, the constant barrage of responsibilities. He painted Charlie not as an icon or a headline, but as a human being with hopes, doubts, burdens, and a heart that cared far more deeply than outsiders understood. And as he spoke, it became clear that this wasn't a political moment. It was a human one. Then he closed his eyes. What followed was not rehearsed. It was not planned. It was not polished. It came from a place beyond speeches and spotlights, a place where men stop pretending they're made of iron. "Lord," Kennedy began quietly, "I come to you tonight not as a senator, not as a man in a suit, not as somebody with a microphone, but as a